Let me paint you a picture of a typical day at AUS. You're walking down the halls, and all you can see are students rushing from building to building, class to class, with pale faces, puffy eyes, and a cup of coffee or Red Bull in hand. Students at AUS are under a lot of pressure, and in order to keep up with that pressure, they often compromise hours from their sleep. To gain an insight about sleep deprivation here at AUS, we interviewed a sample of students about their sleeping habits. How many hours do you sleep on a regular day?
6 to 7.
7 hours.
7 hours?
I sleep about 5 to 6 hours.
8 hours on average, or if not even more.
4 to 5 hours.
6 to 7 on average.
How many hours do you sleep during finals week?
5, sometimes 6.
4 hours.
Around 5 hours.
4 to 5 hours.
About 4 hours on average. Yeah, 4, 3 sometimes. Depends on how much I've done.
4 to 5 hours.
Why do you think it is important to get enough sleep?
I think sleeping is important because it helps you focus when you're studying. And if you don't get enough sleep, you won't be able to focus on your classes or in your exams.
In order to let brains function properly, people need to rest.
Sleep deprivation kind of causes depression. That's how I feel when I don't sleep a lot.
Yeah, I think sleep is pretty important because when I don't sleep, I kind of get really snappish and kind of don't perform well on the exam because, I'm really sleepy.
I believe sleep is important because it enhances your productivity for the day after. So if you don't sleep well today, you won't be able to perform up to level for the next day.
Here's why experts in the field think you should get enough sleep.
Exceptionally lazy. Chances are you didn't sleep enough last night, or the past few nights. But what exactly is enough sleep? And more importantly, can you ever catch up on it? While the very function of sleep is still debated by scientists, we do know that it's necessary to function efficiently and productively. After all, we spend 24 years of our lifetime sleeping, it'd better be important. Researchers have tested how much is required each night by assigning groups of people to 4, 6, and 8 hours of sleep over extended periods of time. After 14 days, those with 8 hours of sleep exhibited few attention lapses or cognitive issues. However, those with 6 or 4 hours of sleep showed a steady decline. In fact, after only 2 weeks, the 6-hour group showed a similar reaction time to a person with a blood alcohol concentration of 0.1%, which is considered legally drunk. The 4-hour sleepers suffered even more, occasionally falling asleep during their cognitive tests. In both groups, brain function decreased day by day almost linearly with no sign of leveling off. Scientists have dubbed this cumulative effect as sleep debt. So can we recover from it? After a night or two of little sleep, studies show that the body and brain can fully recover with a few nights of good sleep. However, with long-term sleep deprivation on the scale of weeks to months, the recovery of cognitive function is much slower, requiring many more nights of quality sleep. On the timescale of months to years, it's unknown whether brain function can be fully repaired or if it causes permanent damage. Paradoxically, with chronic sleep deprivation, your sleepiness or how tired you feel does eventually level off, meaning that you become less and less aware of your objective impairment over time. So how long should you sleep? Most studies tend to show that 7 to 8 hours of sleep is the average ideal for humans. Apart from the cognitive issues, individuals who consistently sleep less than 7 hours a night have an increased risk of heart disease, obesity, and diabetes, not to mention a 12% higher risk of death. On the flip side, studies have shown that while sleeping more than 8 hours does not impair brain function, it also carries an increased risk of heart disease, obesity, and diabetes, and a 30% increased risk of mortality. So too much sleep may also be a bad thing. But variation most certainly exists, and our genetics play a large role. In fact, individuals genuinely unaffected by only 6 hours of sleep were found to have a mutation of a specific gene. When scientists genetically engineered mice to express this gene, they were able to stay awake for an extra 1.2 hours than normal mice. It turns out these short sleepers have more biologically intense sleep sessions than the average person. Ultimately, while it's important to know the ideal average of 7 to 8 hours exists, let your body and brain help you figure out its own needs. After all, no one shoe size fits all.
Here are some tips for improving your sleep. Create a sleep-conducive environment that is dark, quiet, and preferably cool and comfortable. Avoid all forms of caffeine close to bedtime. Exercise regularly, but complete your workout at least 3 hours before bedtime.